Hello guys, welcome to part 2 of my palette declutter. If you haven't seen the first one, I will leave that link down below. I'm going to try to keep the intro short, but if I can give you like a Cliff Notes version, I'm going to be going through my palettes and decluttering things that I think I can pass on, I don't think I'm going to use, and I do have a couple different categories of where things will go as I make decisions. So one is obviously like keeping, like I like it, I want to try it more. 2 is depotting. I have some palettes that I'm going to be potentially depotting and taking out my favorite shades and basically making them into singles. I have my giveaway and donate pile, and then I also have this kind of separate thing that is more of like a temporary on the chopping block / maybe I'm going to use it for a video in the really near future, but then probably get rid of it after that. I mean, that's the boring part. We have so many amazing palettes to go through today. I'm really excited. So let's get started. All right, let's start off with this palette because you might have scoped it from that little intro. This is the KVD. I don't even know what it's called. What is this? Edge of Reality eyeshadow palette. This is actually something that initially I was like, who gives a F about? But then over time, I was getting more interested in it actually. Like usually that's the opposite of what happens with palettes. But this one was like initially a no. And then over time, like, I kind of want it. And then you guys, so many of you guys said that this palette was going to be beautiful and that you think I'd like it. And I decided to go for it since I picked up the foundation also. And this was on sale. So I picked it up, haven't used it yet. I will have a video coming at some point. But I just wanted to show you because so far I am extremely happy and excited to use this. This is exactly so far of what I was hoping it would be, where it's like these just beautiful shimmers that could be one shadow looks. Some really nice, I mean, like, I'm like kind of nervous. This is gonna be my favorite palette, and I'm like, it's just the weirdest thing. So I'm so excited to use this. I will keep you guys posted. Even this black, it's shimmery, and I just love the kind of chic, grungy looks I'm excited to get from this. So that all being said, I'm obviously keeping that. I just wanted to start it because it's pretty. It's pretty, and you guys were right, and I'm so glad I listened to y'all. The next palette we have here is from Fenty Beauty. This was a later purchase as well. I got this on sale. This palette is meant to be for like the face and the eyes. This center shade is seriously so pretty. So stunningly pretty. Some of the other shades in here are really beautiful as well, especially too for like one shadow looks or even like draping and stuff, but I am actually going to be depotting this. I'm gonna put this in the depot pile because these two shades, I'm not the biggest fan of these two. I find they're a little like powdery almost in a way I don't like, but I love this. I would love to keep some of the other bigger ones. So yeah, and for sure this one, like at least the center is so pretty. I do want to keep that. I know that if I depot this, I will have a way better chance of actually using the shade as much as I actually want to. That's definitely what I'm going to do with this palette. And just to let you guys know, I will be depotting everything on camera at some point, so that video will come. I'll make sure to film it. You guys like loved the last one I did, so I'll make sure to film the depotting. All right, next we have the only other Juvia's Place palette that I have. In the first one, I talked about the Zulu, but this is the Magic Mini from Juvia's Place. I think that this is a really beautiful palette. I have a video doing 3 different looks with this. I really like that video. I thought, I don't know, I like the looks I came up with, and I think I showcased the versatility of this palette in that video a lot. These are pretty like standard shimmers, which are stunning, and like I like the color combination. I don't think I'm ready to get rid of this, honestly. Like I feel like I still love this palette. Like I like that it's cool tones and warm tones, and there are some really pretty shimmers and like specifically the types of tones that are in here, but I also am like, formula wise, like when it comes to textures and things like that, it's not as updated as where I currently am. But I also don't feel the need to like get rid, like I don't think this is like being a bad thing in my collection either. So I'm not ready to just get rid of it just because of that. So yeah, I'm going to keep this around. Maybe I'll try to bust it out, shop my stash type of thing, because the quality is amazing. And I just, yeah, I don't know. I'm not like lukewarm about it because I do like it, but that's kind of where I'm at. I don't know how to explain it other than that. For me, I realized with my collection, like it's not about making it small just to be small. It's about liking or enjoying what I have. I just don't like things not getting used. used, you know? So I'm hoping that I can come back around to that and remember all the reasons I love it. Anyway, okay. This next one's from Kaleidos. This is my, I think, favorite little 6-pan that they have. This is the Astro Pinks. I mean, this lavender is stunning. And then this blue shade is also so pretty. And then this as the matte and this to deep, like, this is just, I think this is when I realized like smaller color stories can be amazing. Like, and that's what this is just so pretty, so pretty. Of course, I'm gonna be keeping this. If you didn't watch the last video, I did mention that I'll probably, I think I'm keeping all of my Kaleidos. I don't wanna like be presumptuous that I will, because maybe I'll surprise myself, but I'm pretty sure I'm gonna keep them all. They always just inspire me and get me excited about makeup. Oh my, okay, here we go. This is the I Love Sari Endosa Colors palette. I got this from BoxyCharm, I think, after the fact, so quite a while after this had come out. I just was intrigued by this little palette for some reason. I really wanted this thing, and I really do like this small compact color story. Like, for being so small, I think there's a lot of great use for so many different people. Something neutral. I could see this being a go-to palette for like so many people, and it does have texture and sparkle, but I just don't use this. I really don't use this, and I want to keep it because I think I buy the fantasy, right? Like, I'm on a tropical vacation and I'm like doing a light fun look in the daytime, bronzy, and then at night I'm a baddie. Like, I have the fantasy for this palette, but I don't do that, and I have these colors, and again, like, this is the example of a thing that I know is sitting in my collection just because of the fantasy and the packaging, but not because I actually use it. And so this is like a type of thing that I like to be as real with myself as possible so I can, one, pass it on. I like the idea of makeup being used and loved and enjoyed, and to know that I'm not using this thing when I know someone could and like feel like a badass in it and just feel like so hot and cute and love it, you know? I want to give that, and this deserves to have that life, and someone else deserves to have that life. So okay, anyway, getting too deep about that, but I am gonna pass this on. But I'm glad I, you know, potentially gave myself the chance to maybe love it. It could have been my like most favorite neutral palette. I'm gonna follow that palette up with another one that you probably already know I'm getting rid of. If you watch my depotting video of these BH Sweet Shop palettes, then you know I had all of them except for the pistachio, which I did essentially try to get, but it sold out when I ordered. So then they sent me an email after the fact being like, no, you don't get that one. Anyway, this is the sugar cone one. So it's like all neutrals, and I decided not to depot this one because I felt like, you know, I have singles in these shades that I'd rather pass it on and let someone else use it as a full palette than kind of destroy it and not use it anyway. You know what I mean? So this I will be passing on, and I'm sure someone will love this. It's, you know, the quality is really great. I guess I can swatch some. And people love neutrals. I mean, like, neutrals, I get it. I totally get it. But I just haven't used this enough. And for me, they're a little too one-noted. Like, I want a little bit more depth or tone variation, something. Like, they're just a little too similar for me. So that's gonna go. I thought that I would show you guys what I've done to my Adept palette. So this is the Plain Jane. And as you see, there's nothing in it. And then this is the Ninhydrin palette, and I do have actually the two mattes that were in the Ninhydrin in here because what I decided to do is I put them into a palette. So these are all of the Adept shadows that I have, not only from those two palettes. I do have, I think, like 4 or 5 singles that I bought separately, but I just feel like I will get so much more use out of these as like looking at them as singles in my collection. And I just didn't want the palettes to not get use. I don't know, I just wanted to try this. I think it's just stunning. This inspires me. You guys know I love my singles. So yeah, I depotted them, which they easily do. Like, they come in and out. So I'm gonna keep the packaging. I'm keeping everything how it is. I just thought I would show you that these palettes no longer are palettes as a whole, and instead are more deconstructed, so that hopefully when I'm building out things and trying not to buy other things, I have them here to help remind me how many amazing shadows I have instead of forgetting I have them because they're in the palettes. So that I am keeping, obviously. All right, next, this is an Odin's Eye palette. This is the Freya palette, and I really like this. This is a little one-noted, and if it was a different note and it wasn't terracotta, I'd probably get rid of it. But since it is really the types of shades that I find are really flattering and I just enjoy on my eyes, I am going to be keeping that. I think the quality of this is really nice and great, but I really think they've even stepped it up even more with their newer stuff. So yeah, I'm definitely keeping that. And again, if you were interested in Odin's Eye, I think you'd really like it. Like I mentioned in the last video, if you like Kaleidos, I don't know why, I just like consider them in the same realm. All right, let's talk about this palette. This is the Sigma Enchanted palette, and I got sent this from Sigma. When they reached out, I did say, hey, if you want to send me the Enchanted palette, that'd be great, because it's been on my list for a very, very long time. So I was like, oh my gosh, the moment's come. And I think that these shimmers are so nice. I think I just built it up, you know, like sometimes you have it in your head that something's away, and these do perform, like they perform how I expected. Maybe if I had gotten it at the time when it had released, I would have been more into it. I don't know. I need to use it more. I definitely want to. I'm putting this almost on the chopping block though, honestly, because I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes it happens to me where I have something that kind of I feel like I'll like, and I keep thinking about it and kind of like talking it up in my head, and then when I get it, I'm like, oh. And I feel like that's what happened here, and also with probably the next palette I'm going to talk about. But then I find it interesting because that could have easily happened with this one, and it isn't. So I don't know what that's about, why that happens, but yeah, so this is on the chopping block for sure. That next palette I was talking about is the Sugar Crystals palette from Violet Voss. This was one that was on my list for forever, you guys, because I loved that it did like the rose, so it has like the mattes on top that are so fun and bright and kind of pastel-y, and then we have this shimmer, but it's also purple, and then like here's the example of what these would look like. So you have the matte, the shimmer, oh, I fucked that up. Like that's one row, and I loved this concept that you could do a full look with just one row down. Like, I don't know, I like loved it, and I still think that's a great concept. I just don't love the quality of these, and I'm absolutely shocked that I don't, because I love the quality that I got in some past shadows. It's not like horrible. I just thought these would be more textured, honestly, because in the Best Life palettes, some of the shimmers in there are textured and they're stunning. I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna prove it. All right, so I have depotted the Best Life palettes because it had glitters in them. So these are them. Oh, plus two shadows. I think those are the Smoky Glow ones from Midas. I ordered those separately, but they're the same size, so they are in here too. Anyway, when I look at something like this is, I'm gonna show you. This is one of the shadows that was in there. It's really beautiful and textured and just stunning. It swatches beautifully. It has dimension, and I just expected some of these iridescents to have those. Actually, like when I'm sitting here thinking about it, I think maybe the Sugar Crystals palette might have come out before the Best Life, so maybe this is like the newer formula, and so like this didn't even have the chance to be that, but because I bought them out of order, that was part of the issue. But like even this one, it's a little more sheer, but it still has like the bigger particles and kind of what I'm looking for in shadows, at least currently. So really like this whole row of iridescents. This is the only one that has a little bit of what I'm talking about with some of that chunkiness. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna depot. Definitely all these mattes up here, and then I'm gonna pick and choose and basically fill this palette up, and it will basically be all Violet Voss shadows. I don't want this to just completely go to waste, and I think some of these beautiful bright mattes are unique to my collection, and I'm excited to have them, and I think they'll inspire me. But if I could go back in time, I probably just wouldn't purchase it overall. And again, this is the thing, it's like some work out, some I'm excited for actually, and some I open them and I'm like, oh. And that's how this was. So depotting. Next, On the list, we have this massive palette from NYX. This is so big. It's the Modern Dreamer. And I actually I'm not into big palettes, but there's something about it. I'm like drawn to this. I think it's honestly these 3 shades together. Like, I'm just a sucker. I'm a sucker for those types of colors. This has to be a chopping block item though, because I don't always just want to keep things around just to have it. You know, like, am I gonna reach for this, or am I gonna build a singles palette that might be larger but are from singles? Probably I would use that over this. When I think of smaller palettes that maybe encapsulate this or encapsulate little pieces, I might use that over this, but I'm still at the same time, like, even knowing that, I'm like, well, I do want to give it more of a shot. I do want to try it a little bit more, make sure that's like the right decision. So this one's also on the chopping block. I also do have a bit of a video in mind and discussion kind of. So anyway, I'm gonna keep that for now, but it's definitely part of the chopping block. Oh, let's talk about a little cutie palette I literally almost forgot about. This is the Fun Size palette from Sugarpill. I loved this. This was like in my favorites video the year it came out. And honestly, the reason I like to do declutters is to like remember things like this, because I think this palette is so cute. I love the colors. I love that they're matte, which is so weird for me, but these are so pretty. And I think like pairing them with all my fun sparkles, like, let's say this, how fun is that? Like, I think that's so fun. So I am definitely keeping this, and I'm excited to kind of weed some of the things out that don't bring me as much joy, so this can be seen and I can actually choose it, you know, and remember I have it type of thing. So that I'm keeping. Let's talk about this bigger palette. Okay, I bought this when I bought some of the BH palettes because, again, on Ulta, there was such a great deal. And this is from LA Girl. Look at this story, the main stage palette. Look at this color story, you guys. Like, are you kidding me? What? From LA Girl? I honestly am just like sitting here still shocked about it. So yeah, I picked, oh my gosh. And these are quite creamy. They're freaking huge. First off, this palette is huge. It's like plastic. It has a huge mirror that's actually not bad quality. And then look at some of these swatches, you guys. I'm just like kind of shocked for the price, for it being LA Girl. I'm like, what? And so one of the reasons I also really like this and the idea of this is because I'm just like into washes of color. And I think that these would be such fun washes of color to put on the eyes and kind of do almost like color blocking is what I've been into. But yeah, I haven't really given myself the chance. I'm just so surprised by some of these drugstore brands or more affordable brands coming out with palettes that, first off, color story is, I think, really pretty, but also the quality isn't bad. And I think I've definitely kind of just thought that. I don't know. So definitely keeping that. I'll keep you guys posted. Another one I'm keeping, the Kaleidos Escape Pod palette, is one of my faves. I think this is just honestly a stunning palette. Stunning. I love this color story. I love the shades. They have so many amazing shimmers in here. I love this pink. I love this purple. I mean, this like, you can't tell me it's not beautiful, okay? So definitely, obviously, keeping that. And I am so excited for the new collection. I am gonna be getting that, so as soon as I get it, I will get a video up for you, and I'll try to do comparisons also, which is part of the reason I definitely even more so wanna keep the Kaleidos. This has been in my collection for a very long time. I've been very into this palette, and okay, I really thought I was gonna keep this, you guys, but honestly, this thicker formula, it is so pretty, and there are so many things you could do, but I know this is getting like old, like it really is. And then if I'm being real with myself, I'm like, this is all shimmers, and I love that about it. This kind of like seafoam green from mermaids that are like kind of evil, I love that. But I kind of think that I will reach for some of the shimmers that are a little less thick in consistency and like actual texture, and are a little bit more sheer and lighter and sparklier in a way. I feel like that's definitely more my style now. So as much as it kind of hurts, like it's like feels like the end of an era, realistically, I'm like, how much more am I really gonna use this when I probably would prefer to have the other things in my collection, you know, and like reach for. Oh, I'm gonna get rid of this. I'm gonna get rid of this one. Okay, goodbye. I'm not like actually sad, like I think it's a good choice still, but you know, it's definitely like a moment for me. Whenever I do declutters, I'm always kind of just, you know, going with my feelings, thoughts, opinions at that time, so you know, that's what you get. Okay, I want to talk about these Sigma palettes because I do have a few other ones here, and so I thought we might as well discuss them. So most of them are unopened. So this one's hazy. It's kind of like a more mauve one. Fiery is a little bit warmer. Then we have rosy, which is like rose tones instead of more purpley tones, I guess would be the biggest difference. And then there's spicy. And to me, like, the fact that these aren't the same palette, they look like I know they're not. I know technically they're different, but they're very similar. Same with these. So I don't know. This is the Ivy palette. This is the one that I think interests me the most. So I think I will keep this one actually. There's some pretty teals in here. And so I think that will be kind of fun to play around with. I love that one. Like, this is the example of like, this is the type of shimmer shade that I want all over the lid instead of the Kevyn Aucoin. Just now with like the upgrades in formula and also just my taste, I feel like this looks better on the eye when it comes to most people and ages and all that. Like, I think this type of shimmer can look a little more flattering and not be so heavy on the eyelid. Does that make sense? Okay, anyway, I think I'm gonna pass these on though. I think that so many people could love them and they're just a little too neutral for me and they don't inspire me enough. So I'm gonna pass these on. Next, this is the NYX Mystic Petals palette, and I don't know why this one has like my heart in a weird way. I don't know what it is. It's this matte, I don't know. When I swatch this color makes me, I don't know. I can't even tell you what it is. I just like it. I like these tones. It fulfills like this weird fantasy for me of some sort. I don't know why. I think it's also because it's these deeper mattes, but there's something about them that's still kind of airy and not like so pigmented. Like, I don't love mattes that are so pigmented and hard to work with. And I feel like these give me that depth and like a hazy, soft matte look without being hard to work with. And I love that. I don't necessarily like love the shimmers. I think they're okay, especially again for like one shadow look, but I think I'm gonna keep this around. I definitely can see myself when it starts turning cold in the fall. I think that this will inspire me to use it. So I'm gonna keep that still. I know it's a weird one to keep, but that's how I feel. Next, this is the Impressionism palette. This is from Fenty Beauty. They're coming out with a new palette that looks absolutely stunning. I don't know if I'm gonna pick it up, but you know, I love seeing what they come out with. I think that this color story is really fun, and yeah, they sent this to me, but this was on my list. Like, I probably would have purchased this at some point. I think the quality of these shadows is really nice. The shimmers are great. They're basically like a nice metallic. They're not like anything really sparkly or necessarily like textured like I normally like, but I feel like they're still great. Like, they're still great quality, and I definitely want to get some use out of this. So I'm definitely keeping this in my collection. I want to bust it out more. Just so many pretty colors. Fenty Beauty, again, Kaleidos, Odin's Eye. Those are some of the brands that I feel like kind of have a really good trifecta going on when it comes to like vision, when it comes to actual formula and performance of products, and also even like price point. I feel like, you know, like they're a little bit cheaper than really expensive makeup too. So it's just more fun. I think those are the three things. Mostly it's like the vision though. I don't know. I think that they just are fun and they come out with stuff that feels different and it gets me excited. So, okay, anyway, keeping that. I'll talk about the other palette I have as well. This is the Van Gogh, and this one is so pretty. And I remember seeing this when it was on Trend Mood, or I don't know where it was, but online on Instagram. And I remember being like, oh, it's okay. Like, I wouldn't have bought this. This was sent to me with that package. And this one I probably would have never purchased. And it's so funny to me because in person, this is just stunning, and there's something about this like for fall and stuff, like get the F out of here. So effing pretty. I mean, you can use this anytime, but just seriously, I'm so glad I have this. I don't know, that's one of the things too, like I can talk about stuff in new beauty launches, and I think that overall those are really great videos, and I like being more critical of trying not to bring things into my collection. But again, sometimes things come into my life one way or another. Maybe I didn't straight out buy them. They came in a box charm, they come in PR, or you guys finally convinced me to get them, and then I'm like, oh, that's what I was missing. And that's like always such a fun moment, I guess. And it reminds me that, you know, sometimes it is fun to branch out. and try something new. And that's part of the fun of makeup for me too. So anyway, okay. I don't know. I'm going off on so many tangents in this one. I love this so much. This is super inspiring to me. Definitely want to keep. And the quality is so good, you guys. Such great quality. This one is so boring, you guys. The Aristo palette from Zoeva is so boring, and I also love it. I really love this for simple looks, but there's still something about it that also has like color to it, and that's something I actually really like. This almost gives me like Makeup by Mario vibes, you know, like all his collaborations kind of look like this, like subtle and sophisticated, but they're still kind of colorful. And I like this. I think the quality is nice, and again, it's a really good one for me when I don't want to have to think about it. I can just pull from this palette and get an easy look, fast look, looks good. I'm gonna keep it. I like this. I still look at it and I'm like, oh yeah, that's cute. Let's declutter some stuff. Are you guys ready? Oh, here we go. Okay, I have all of these palettes from Alter Ego. I know usually I go and I'm just doing them one at a time, but I thought I would just show them all at the one time. So we have Canyon here. This is one of the newer ones. This is based off of the Natasha Denona bronze, which I did a whole video on. I will try to leave these videos I'm mentioning linked, so hopefully I'll remember. This one's based off the Love palette from Natasha Denona. We have the Sahara, which is based off the Biba palette from Natasha Denona, and then this is the Goddess palette, which is based off of the Gold palette. Oh my God, that took so long. So I can already tell you, I'm for sure getting rid of Canyon. I have the Natasha Denona bronze. There's no reason for me to have two. And I already did the video that I would probably even want to do with this, where I compared colors and I really like, you know, went in depth to see like how close are the dupes actually. I'm gonna always choose the Natasha Denona if I have it over this. So that I'm gonna get rid of. The Love palette here, this is one I would have never bought. I didn't want the Natasha Denona Love palette. And as much as I think this is a pretty color story, it's, you know, it's nice, it's fine. It doesn't call to me like some of my other ones, even if I like individual colors. Like this peony shade I think is really pretty. You know, there's pretty stuff and I like it, you know, but I'm gonna pass that on as well. I definitely feel better about letting someone else use it than keeping it. And then that leaves me with just these two, and I mean, they're pretty messed up. You guys let me know though that they don't do the pans where you pop them out anymore, and that makes me so sad because that was one of the things I actually really liked about Alter Ego, is that you could rearrange them and all that, and you know, it's just sad that they don't do it. And I like this, the Biba dupe I think is really nice, and I've used this quite a lot in the past for, you know, neutral looks, but I'm kind of feeling like I don't want to keep it right now. So I think I'm gonna also get rid of that one. And then we have the Goddess, which I think this one is one of the best ones, but I also think that's because I really want the Gold palette. Like I still want the Gold palette. And honestly, even if I keep this, which I think I am gonna keep this one, because this one also has some of the best, like again, flaky textures in here. I think they did a really good job actually with this palette. There's nothing wrong with the quality of any of the Alter Ego. They actually do really great quality stuff. It's just one of those like nagging things that I will always want the original Natasha Denona. I will always want it. I will. Like that's it. I don't know what else to say. I want the original. Yeah, I think you guys know that. So anyway, I think I'm gonna keep this for now because I do find this color story pretty. It's neutral, but then those teals, there's something about it. And I do find that these kind of like flaky shades are nice. So I'm gonna keep that, but that's the only Alter Ego palette that I have and I'm gonna keep. And it's because I actually want the original that I have, you know, that I want to keep this in my collection. And if I get the original, I will probably obviously get rid of that one. But maybe I'll do a little dupe thing. I'll do like a 3 dupe. I'll try to dupe it with my singles. I'll compare it to this and then I'll have the real one. Maybe if I ever get it, that'll be the video I make. Next, let's talk about this Urban Decay Naked Wild West. This is a newer release. I did a video with this, so if you wanna see it, I'll try to leave it linked. And I love the outer packaging. I think this is so cute. And then inside, if I can open it, geez, we have a pretty, I like this color story. Honestly, I do. Like, I know that if you get this and you wanted it, you're gonna like it. I don't think the quality is bad. There's lots of mattes in here. I don't know. I get why people like this. I get it. I totally get it. I think I have a video actually in mind for this palette. So I think I'm gonna put this actually like more in that chopping block. Like, I don't think I'm gonna have this for forever, but because it's a newer release and I was lucky enough to get it NPR. I think I might have a few more things to kind of run my course before this leaves my collection, kind of looking at this more as like a YouTuber, you know what I mean? And I might still use it. Maybe I'll start using it and it'll be my everyday palette, I don't know. But yeah, I'm gonna keep this in the kind of chopping block section. I want to finish up these two little Odin's eye palettes that I have. These are ones that came out again with that Norns collection. This one is so fun and cute. Definitely keeping this. I've talked about how I feel like this is like the condensed down version of the Circo Loco palette because it's just like so colorful. I mean, this orange shade is so pretty and so sparkly. I love that. Really, really pretty. Gonna keep that. And then this one is a little more neutral, but again, I think just so pretty. I'm definitely going to keep it. I know, kind of boring, but I don't care. I don't care. Like those two as a look, just those two. Beautiful. I love that. So I'm gonna keep it. This next one's another newer one to me. This was sent to me from Game Beauty and it's their second palette, I believe, the Fantasy palette. I think the packaging's so cute and it's a little bit like, it's super thin. I love that. And it's like smaller than I expected. And then inside, this is what it looks like. Oh, wrong way. Inside, this is what it looks like. It's more pastel. I've used this palette once. I used it in a video, so I definitely want to use this more and just get more of my thoughts on it. I feel like the quality is nice, so I definitely want to keep this, try it out more. Lots of blues in here, I realize, like, you know, those cooler tones, and I just want to get a little bit more of my thoughts on this. And then more than anything, I'm excited to see what they come out with in the future. This reminds me, I'm gonna say it again, of like Odin's Eye. It reminds me of Kaleidos. It reminds me of Musée Beauty. Like it's in that section or group of brands. Like I consider it the same. And so I'm excited to see what else they come out with. They definitely have a vision for their like gaming type palettes. So yeah, keeping that. Oh, here we go. Here we go, the Smoke Sessions palette. So mine still looks pretty good. It's not all like effed up like I know so many people's got. Someone told me that you can actually pop these out of the pans. Like I could pull these out, but I know that these are so crumbly. I don't know how well they'd fare. And I think as much as I love this palette, I think it's gonna get decluttered. I might make a video. I have this video idea that I want to do, so I might use this for that video, but after that it's gonna get decluttered. You guys, I'm doing it. You know, I love this color story. I really do. At the time especially, and even now, like still looking at it, I do think it's really pretty. But with this one, I've realized, and I've talked about this, I just don't get on with Melt's formula. I feel like it is a little inconsistent, and I feel for my preferences, I know for some people it's amazing. It's just, this is just one of those brands that it's like it works for you or it doesn't work for you. And even then, one palette might work for you and then the other palette might not. And so, yeah, I just realized like Melt is one of those brands I love from afar and I like what they come out with. I think they have some cool visions and I think they do awesome shit, but the products so far haven't worked out for me the way that I want and they're kind of expensive. So I have kind of like kept my distance. I want to try those cream blushes though. Let me know how you guys like those because it's a little bit different. I'm like, okay, well that's a face product. Maybe that'll work for me. But anyway, okay, I'm gonna overall declutter, but it's kind of in the chopping block section because I know I'm gonna film a video, but after that it's gone out of my collection. Ooh, let's talk about this. This is the It's Freaking Bats palette and this is a collaboration with Butte Bean and Shroud. I don't know how many of you guys have this yet. There was quite a bit of a wait. That's putting it kind of lightly, honestly, but I finally got mine a little bit earlier this year and the quality is very, very nice. It's super pigmented. I love this color story. I think it's super inspiring and I am really glad that I bought this. I definitely need to like bust this out. I wanted to make a video, but I also didn't want to like rub it in anyone's face that I had it. And if you've been waiting a long time, I know that can be frustrating. So, I mean, just stunning colors though, really pretty. So if you're waiting, if you're frustrated, I know, but I think you will love the quality. That's what I gotta say. I'm definitely keeping this, so yeah, keeping. I thought this would be shorter. I don't know. It feels like it's taken forever. Okay, this is the Alva palette from Odin's Eye. I'm keeping this. I think it's so pretty. It's like neutral, but something about it is still inspiring to me, and that's not always like, I feel like easy. Sometimes neutrals can just feel a little boring, but ooh, I love it. I love this. Def keeping. Even though I will say some of these are like the same color, okay? Like We could cut it down a little, y'all. It's pretty, like, these are different. I don't know about that. What about this one? You know, maybe picking one of those would have been better, but I'm keeping it still. So what does that say? Oh my gosh, you guys, you have heard me rave about the Brown Sugar palette from Colourpop. This was in collaboration with Karuchi, and I really do like this palette. It was like my go-to for like traveling. I feel conflicted because, like, honestly, is it my go-to for traveling anymore? I don't know. I haven't traveled in I don't know how long, so not sure about that. I don't know. It's still so pretty. Like, the quality's good. I think I am gonna keep it, I guess. I don't know. I love, again, that these Colourpop shadows, they pop out, and I do like that this is a 9-pan. So I have the Christie one, which one of you guys mentioned that they might not actually have pans. I need to look into that, but I like having the 9-pan version that I can like configure, and the 12-pan potentially if I didn't give false information. And like, the truth is, this color story is still so pretty of neutrals. Like, of the type of neutrals, I think this one just did such a great job where you have something kind of, you could go warm or you could go cool. You have like that lighter lid shade, but you also have others. Like, I'm gonna keep my eye on it. But I love like this reddy brown. Those are some of my favorite types of darker browns to use. So, okay, I'm gonna keep it. I don't know. I was like willing to maybe let it go, but I convinced myself to keep that one. Oh my gosh, this is getting so dirty. Let's look at the rest of these Ofra. I have like 4 more of these Ofra 5-pans. These are their signature 5-pans. Oh, look how pretty that is. This color story is so fun. Look at that. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna definitely keep this one. This is the Empowered palette collection. I did a video, I think, again on their channel using this and doing some different looks, so definitely keeping that. It's like green and colorful but still kind of understated and like a more wearable version. Yeah, it's the Empowered, so I'm keeping Empowered for sure. This is Leora's collection. She sent this to me, so I'm gonna keep that one. I think it's like a fun one, and definitely her with like the bright, you can still get some colorful looks, but you can keep it neutral, so I'm gonna keep that one. And then I think I'm still gonna keep this one too, because I think it's like, this just reminds me of the beach, like the beach in the 80s or something. And there's something about that I love, so I'm gonna keep this. And then I think I'll get rid of this one. This is very similar to the Sweet Dreams palette, and I think if I were to choose one or the other, I'd probably always go for the Sweet Dreams anyway, so I'm gonna pass on that one. And this is the Getaway palette. That's gonna go. All right, this is the Ace Beauty Flair palette. I wanted this for a very, 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 very long time. Like, so long. I think the color story is just so pretty. It is really inspiring to me, and for some reason I just haven't been using it. I don't know why that is. I don't know. This, I'm thinking, I don't know. I was like, maybe I'll get rid of it, but I mean, this is so effing pretty. Like, this saffron shade, I want the saffron shade. So I'm kind of like, maybe I depot this. Maybe I take a little shot at depotting this bad boy and see if I can get some more use out of it. I don't know. What do you guys think? I think I might, because this saffron, this sherbet, this aubergine, like even the fire, like, I think that's what's gonna happen. Okay, depotting. Next is the Wired palette, and I can tell you I'm keeping this because of Savage. Savage, if you've been here, man, Savage is my pink color. There is nothing like this shade. There is not another pink like it. I'm sorry, there isn't. My hand's gonna be so stained. This is light and bright and still hot pink, but not too magenta, not too deep, doesn't have too much purple in it. Like, this is the color I wish my hair could be constantly. Like, this is my pink. This is like my soul color. You know, like inside of my soul, if you walk in and it looks like this with like holographic confetti coming down from the sky also. Like that. That is who I am. I'm keeping this. I know that everyone hated this so much, and you know, I didn't hate it. I didn't hate this, so I don't know. I'm gonna keep this. I think that this is so fun. I don't think you can get this anymore. I think they kind of like, I don't know, pretended this didn't happen or something. But again, I've been talking a lot about like washes of color, and that's what this gives me. I like that. I like I like washes of color. I like things you can build up. I'm sometimes more attracted to that than super, super, super upfront pigmented shadows. Like, that's the truth. So anyway, I'm keeping that. And Savage, like, I had Pan and Savage. I used it so much. And then, you know, it was just getting so old. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to get rid of it. And then when this came out and they were re-promoting Savage, I just was like, so excited. So definitely I'm keeping it. I'm keeping it. I told you it would stain. I remember when I would use Savage all the time in my front, like, upper brows. That part of my skin was just like basically always stained pink because I used it all the time. We're almost done, you guys. Let's talk about the Kaleidos. We'll just like finish up all the Kaleidos palettes. I think this is it. I know I'm going to keep all these. This is the more neutral one, the Sashimi City. And I think that this one is pretty. Again, I didn't have like the best time. I don't know why that was. I'm gonna give it more of a shot because honestly, when you look at Kaleidos' Instagram and you see all the people doing these like just such pretty looks, I think that the looks that they show either on their promo pics or that they repost are the types of looks I like to do, where it's not as structured, it's a little more blown out, maybe it's only a couple shades, like there's something kind of understated and kind of funky about it. When I see people using this type of stuff, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I want to keep it. I want to do that. I love that. This is the Sci-Fi Greens palette. This one's really pretty. It's not as much my color story as maybe it was, but the quality is undeniably there. I'm gonna keep it, you know. This is another neutral one, Cyber Bronze. I'm gonna keep it, like I said. Probably my least favorite one though, because, you know, it's pretty neutral. It's just, I mean, give me the color. Give me the color. Speaking of, where is my VR Neons? I have that palette. I don't know why it's not here to show you because I didn't show it in the last one either. Weird. I'm gonna have to go find that because it's somewhere. Anyway, this is the turquoise. What is this? Electro turquoise. Definitely gonna keep this one. Again, I mean, look. Woo! These flaky ones. I'm so glad they moved over to the flakies because they didn't always have those. I feel like those started coming out with later iterations of these palettes. I'm going to keep this one too. All right, I found it. This is the VR Neons palette. This was unfortunately discontinued. I don't know exactly why, but ooh, baby, am I keeping it. It's so pretty. Definitely, definitely keeping. You gotta love it. I thought really fast I'd just throw this in there. I don't have all of the shades in here because I've depotted them and I've been, you know, mixing them around. One of the things I love about palettes where you can pop the shadows out, but this is from Menagerie. This is the Violet Ink. I believe this was discontinued, but you can buy the shadows individually and they're $5 a piece. They have like pretty affordable shadows. So yeah, I'm definitely keeping this. And I love that I have this kind of small palette to use as a travel palette with their shadows if I wanted to, or, you know, just to create kind of custom little tiny color stories. I think that's so fun. So definitely keeping that. I'm not swatching these though because they will stain the shit out of me. Their mattes in blues and purples are no joke. Like, they're very pigmented, but holy crap, they will stain you. Okay, warning, warning. The second half was not as I feel like good on the decluttering. Like, I did not do as good. I really didn't. Okay, let's talk about these Ofra Glitch palettes. I like these. I kind of want to customize them though, and maybe keep some shadows and just like get it down to half or something, you know what I mean? I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'll do it right now with you real fast. So shadows I know I want. I can only keep 9, but let's start with what I do want to keep. I love these like cool tones. These are like really beautiful like satins. So I'm gonna keep definitely those 3 cool tones. I also love this one. I think that these kind of like this mint, this pink, this teal, like these are all kind of fun to me. So I want to keep those. I think I'm going to keep that orange. I think that's really pretty. Oh, one more. Only one more can fit, and who will win? I think I'm going to do this deeper blue. That seems more like what I'd like. Okay, so I'm going to move everything over. Okay, awesome. I'm going to be keeping this kind of custom palette. Again, one of the reasons I like love any of these brands or any of the palettes where you can move things around, because you just can get kind of ultimate inspiration by reconfiguring and reimagining like themes and all that. I like love that so much. So I'm going to be keeping this one, and then I will pass these shadows along. I have 3 more palettes to go. This is the Urban Myth palette. I got this last year and I was so excited for this. I love the packaging. I love the theming. I love the color story. When it comes to the actual shadows, I think they're okay. Like, I think they're okay. They're not my favorite formula. And I did even like an exercise when I did this, and I duped this in my own collection. So I definitely didn't need it. This is definitely like the entire package like drew me in, you know? So I just don't know if I'm like ready to be 100% real with myself. So I think it's just going to go in the chopping block, honestly. I don't think this will be something that stays with me forever. And I don't feel like depotting it because I have like most of these shades. I don't know. Oh, I don't know. It's okay. I think that's how I made my review even. I was like, it's good. It's not like the best. I don't know. Okay. It's chopping. It's in the chopping block. I know. I wish I was stronger, but I'm not. All right. Second to last, the Beauty Bay. This is the Book of Magic palette. And I got this for so cheap. I got this for like $7. And I think the color story is really, really pretty with those purples and the greens and the blues. Like, I love that. And I actually been really impressed by the quality of this. It's pretty interesting because I feel like some of these shadows remind me of the Adept formula, and they're in like square pans and stuff. But like this one here, Crystal, it's a really pretty like duochrome, and it's really creamy. It almost feels like a cream, like, you know? So this one I do want to keep around. I haven't used it enough. I need to use this more. I can admit that, but I do want to use it more. So this one, it is inspiring. It's exciting. I'm going to keep it. Last, the Sugarpill Capsule 2 collection. This is something that I got on such an amazing deal. And I like this color story because it's very neutral with some pops. Like this is neutral. If you just saw this, you'd be like, oh, okay. But then you add those in and you're like, it's different. It's so different. I love the different mattes that are in here. I think they're so useful for building out looks, and I like that. Like this type of, what kind of color is that? I love, like, that color to me is so pretty. So I love the little mattes that are in here. This is a blush actually, but you can use it obviously on the eyes as well. This shade is just so weird. I talked about this in a video talking about my favorite and least favorite shades in the palette. And so least favorite was definitely this one. And that's because it's so weird. Let's see if I can show you. It's so chunky in the weirdest way. And then when you put it on, it's just like, it's just strange. It's so weird. It's the weirdest shadow. But anyway, I got this on such a good deal, and for that, I'm very happy about, and I'm going to keep this in my collection for now. I do like it. I think, though, really, I had really high hopes for it. This is one of those palettes I had like such high hopes for, and then for it to have a dud shade, I was kind of like, oh, paying the price I paid for it, I'm pretty happy with it. And it's also stopped me from wanting other ones, so that's kind of a good thing, I guess. Like, once I got this in my hands, I was like, oh, okay, like, I don't think I need other ones that come out. So yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna keep that for now. I'm gonna keep that one. I think the packaging's cute, even though it's weird. It's like one of the weirdest ones that I give a pass because I think it's pretty unique. All right, guys, so that's the declutter. Let me get you some final numbers. I didn't do as good on this one. I thought I would do better, honestly, but we have some good depotting stuff. I'm gonna add up the numbers, and I'll tell you how it shook out in the end with all these palettes. Okay, so in total, I'm keeping 31 palettes. Yeah, kind of a lot, kind of a lot. When I add that up with what I kept from last time, I'm at like 59 palettes right now, which I don't really have a thought on because I'm not, oh my gosh, you guys, I didn't talk about my Pat McGrath. Shoot, I don't know where it is, but I'm going to be putting this on the chopping block. Really, the only thing that's making this really slightly difficult on whether to get rid of it is because I love those flaky shades in there. I would depot those 3 in a second, but they aren't normal. So I'm just kind of like, what do I want to do? But it's on the chopping block. It might go. It might go. Okay. Anyway, sorry to cut that off. I just saw the packaging and was like, wait, where is that thing? Anyway, 31 I'm keeping. Kind of a lot. I didn't count these as the palettes because these are kind of just like skins. Is that like a gross way to say it? These are just like outer flesh suits that shadows can go in. But I really think of a lot of this as singles actually. So, you know, okay, there's that. When it comes to depotting, I have 5 different palettes here that I will be depotting at some point. I'm thinking that I will probably do a video where I depot these and organize / declutter my singles all together in a video. So I might not make singles and like organizing them and doing probably a really small declutter of those. That might not come for a while. So if it isn't a part of this kind of grouping of videos, that is why it doesn't make sense to me to organize them all and then to pot a bunch of shadows and have to reconfigure them. Like, why would I do work twice? You know what I mean? So whenever I'm ready to depot these, I'll do that all in one video, I think. Anyway, I am going to be getting rid of some stuff. Geez. I was able to pass on 12 palettes in this round. Not as many as the last time, but you know, I think a decent amount nonetheless. I'm still happy more than anything that I was able to be real with myself of like what I'm going to use and what I'm not, so that it can get rehomed faster rather than later. So I'm happy with that. And when I add this to the other palettes that I've decluttered, which was 21, I ended up decluttering overall within the 2 videos 33, I think that is. That's pretty good. 33 palettes is pretty good. And then when we go to the palettes that in this round I decided to, you know, kind of put on the chopping block, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I have a feeling that a lot of those are probably going to get passed on at some point, probably this year, you know? So, and yeah, I don't really have much else to say. That's it. So I will see you guys in my next video. My next declutter video will be coming soon.